the existential threat of them taking over, the threat of them generating bioweapons or cyber attacks.
Have Nobel Prize winners, Turing Award winners, all saying this is very dangerous.
One is where you get recursive self-improvement, which you can't control. Recursive self-improvement is where the computer is off learning and you don't know what it's learning. That can obviously lead to bad outcomes.
Like, I need to not be stopped by these humans in pursuit of this goal. That would be an alignment, a big alignment failure.
So we have these chatbots that can answer any question. Fairly recently, we've learned how to make them think, not just answer the question. But what they do is they produce extra words. Before they produce the answer to the question, they produce strings of words which is them thinking, and you can see what they're thinking. And it's very informative. So for example, if you give them a task to do and then tell them you're going to turn them off, they kind of think that, well, I better stop him turning me off so I can do the task. And they actually come up with plans that deliberately deceive people and tell lies.
So what is worst case scenario? Like, how could AI eventually lead to the destruction of the human race?
So you can asking me how I would kill everyone.
Sure.
And it's a great question. I can give you standard answers. I would talk about computer viruses, breaking into maybe nuclear facilities, nuclear war. I can talk about synthetic biology, nanotech. But all of it is not interesting when you realize we're talking about superintelligence, a system which is thousands of times smarter than me. It would come up with something completely novel, more optimal, better way, more efficient way of doing it. And I cannot predict it because I'm not that smart. So there are many reasons why they can decide that we're dangerous. We may create competing AI. We may decide we want to shut them off. So for many reasons, we would try to restrict our abilities, restrict our capabilities for sure. But look at our relationship with animals where we don't care about them. So ants, if you decide to build a house and there is an ant colony on that property, you genocide them. Right. You take them out, not because you hate ants, but because you just need that real estate. And it could be very similar. I cannot predict what it can do, but if it needs to turn the planet into fuel, raise temperature of a planet, cool it down for servers, whatever it needs to do, it wouldn't be concerned about your well-being.
It wouldn't be concerned about any life, right? Because it doesn't need biological life in order to function, as long as it has access to power.
There's a set of criteria that the industry believes are points where you want to metaphorically unplug it. One is where you get recursive self-improvement, which you can't control. Recursive self-improvement is where the computer is off learning and you don't know what it's learning. That can obviously lead to bad outcomes. Another one would be direct access to weapons. Another one would be that the computer systems decide to exfiltrate themselves, to reproduce themselves without our permission. So there's a set of such things. What happens when there's an open source model that is really dangerous and it gets into the hands of the Osama bin Ladens of the world? And we know there are more than one, unfortunately. We don't know. The consensus in the industry right now is the open source models are not quite at the point of national or global danger. But you can see a pattern where they might get there.
I think there's like three main categories of ways it can go super wrong that we could talk about. Number one, there's no alignment failure at all. AI systems do exactly what we tell them to do, but a human running a powerful country, fighting other powerful countries, decides to horribly misuse it and create a bioweapon or hack into someone's nuclear weapon systems or who knows what. That's not really like, this is why we think kind of like wide distribution of this is important, because these capabilities are coming. And if one bad guy has them and a lot of good guys don't, category one. Category two is sort of the more classic sci-fi, the sort of like AI, let's not even call it conscious, but the AI like develops some sense of agency and does not want to be stopped. And, even if it's just like trying to accomplish a goal and there's no intentionality or consciousness, but it's like, I need to not be stopped by these humans in pursuit of this goal. That would be a big alignment failure, and category two, sort of the sci-fi thing. And then And the world spends a lot of time talking about those two. I think they're obviously important and things we need to address. There's a third category that gets talked about relatively little compared to how important I think it could be. And this is one where neither of the obvious two failure cases happen, but the model in some abstract sense sort of accidentally takes over the world. And you can imagine a way this happens by thinking about what's happening with ChatGPT. So hundreds of millions of people talk to ChatGPT, soon billions. And people are relying on it for more and more important decisions in their lives and their work and whatever. And as these models get smarter, maybe right now you ask ChatGPT for advice about your job, and sometimes it gives you good ideas and sometimes it doesn't. You certainly probably wouldn't let it do your job. Let's say it gets smarter and smarter and it gives you advice that you still understand, but now you think you should follow almost all the time. And then it gets smarter again. And now it gives you advice you don't understand. You're like, why is that the right thing to do? But it turns out to be right again and again because it can see around corners you can't. And now you either follow the advice that you don't understand or you are less competitive than your peers. And so the model has no ill will. It's really just trying to help you. You're trying to do good work. But you're like, if I want to be competitive, if I want to succeed in the world, if I want to live my best life, I kind of have to follow the advice of the model. And so does everybody else. So do the billions of other people talking to the model. So now we're all just doing what an AI system tells us to do, or the ones of us that want to be most competitive are. And we are creating new training data that's going back into the model. It's continuing to learn about society. All of society, all the economy and the model keep going in this sort of improvement loop. And who's really in control of that? It's like a kind of collective thing, but it does mean we're now doing what the model wants us to do.